live streams never go well the first time, do they? Okay.
Oh.
Okay, could you check the volume for us?
Yeah, you see it
No,
there?
I can see it, but...
You want to go outside? There's one person
I can
watching.
smell your burp!
I didn't burp.
You did!
That's very rude. We're on live stream. That's very rude. Hello everyone. It is the monthly union update presented by myself, Hayden, and your president, Hannah. And we're just going to go over, in terms of the last few months, of what the union's been doing, and I'll kind of more around officer or union updates in terms of, all around the union and us officer projects specifically.
Yeah. Last year we had feedback from students that they felt like they didn't know what the SU is or does, and also transparency was a hot discussion topic during the leadership race. So you said, and we did. To fulfill this, we'll be hosting these monthly updates where we'll be providing you with information from our various departments on what they've been up to, what your elected officer team are up to on their projects, and what they've been leading on and collaborating on. And we're also going to provide you with the opportunity to ask us questions. Depending on the topic of the question, we may not be able to answer them during the live stream. For example, if it relates to a specific department or a project which we are not a part of, but we'll be taking any of these questions back to the SU team to provide you with an answer ASAP.
Yeah, so if we want to start this off, we were supposed to have one last month as well as a kind of the initial start, but with welcome and how hectic that always is every year, we were just a bit short on time. So we're just going to give you, I'm going to give you a TLDR of what July and August look like, and then we'll start from September. So July and August, that's when our lovely officer team and Len and Choto, currently not here, on annual leave, got elected in to the officer team, to the union. Throughout July, we had a few things, so that's kind of our officer training, looking at how we get an induction to the officer role and how to kind of do our positions and jobs. Follow that, we had a lot of planning of the academic year, seeing how our manifestos work and tied with each other, and how that looked when we start in September, and how we get these plans in place, scheduled, so we know what we're doing. And then we also had our graduation ceremonies. So for those who graduated, anyone in the chat that might be alumni or doing their masters and graduated from the undergrad in July, all of us had the opportunity to sit with executive members and staff members and partake in the graduation ceremonies in July for, I believe, was it a week full of graduations, potentially 3 ceremonies per day in a rather hot King's Hall. So
it was so hot.
that was always joy to be in. And then late in August, myself, Len, and Choto went to NUS's Lead and Change program, which was for new officers that recently just got elected, just kind of learn the more ropes around unions and the national picture around how we can support our students at our university and nationally.
And that was summer.
Very quick TLDR.
So moving on, we're going to be providing you with updates from all the different departments. These have been provided by our very wonderful SU's core staff team. So we're going to be starting with the voice department. So in September, the voice team, in September, the voice team were focusing on development and delivery of department rep and network training as part of their student leader training days. They had a presence and they did a lot of happy waving during Welcome Week and at the Get Stoked event. They've been focusing on course rep recruitment alongside university colleagues, focusing on the development and sharing of resources, delivering welcome talks, and also doing lecture shout-outs. And following an updates to our automation processes, the launch of Rep Hub 22-23 has happened, and the engagement with our students using it. For October, they've been supporting the Race and Cultural Inclusion Network and the wider Union for Black History Month delivery. They've been running the by-elections to elect in NUS delegates, vacant department rep roles and vacant network roles, which have all been successful. They've been supporting the Disability Network in continuing the conversation and challenges of accessibility issues. They've been supporting the officers in lobbying on behalf of students who lost Adobe licenses, and they've been helping with research on cost of living challenges for students. Do you like to cover engagement?
Yeah. So in September, from our engagement team, we welcome back. They welcome back our returning committees, where they delivered 2 days of committee training. This prepared all the committee groups for the year ahead in terms of recruitment, engagement, and just running their societies in a successful manner. So a couple of weeks later, they hosted the annual Clubs and Societies Fair, which was brimming with interest. So the start of the academic year for Welcome Week, lots of engagement there. I'm sure a few of you were there as well. In the backdrop of all this, they created a bunch of new societies this academic year, which includes DART, Midwifery, Press Star, and even some in London, in our London campus, having a Games Design Society and Mental Health and Wellbeing Society. They've also hosted some successful events such as FIFA tournaments, organised trips and tours around the Stoke City football grounds, and enhancing the partnership with the local community trust. We brought in a member from Art for Wellness, which is called Amy, who has assisted in our students with sessions surrounding arts and benefits of benefits to mental health around very simple artwork. And we recently also hosted a second and third round of committee training, delivering it to another over 20 other students, representing even more groups, and alongside more societies from our London campus.
Moving on to an update from our advice team. So starting with Welcome Week, our advice team were out and about supporting students at all 4 of the campuses across Welcome Week. They, alongside hosting pop-ups on Leek Road and College Road here in Stoke, they attended the International Student Support Drop-ins and Get Stoked, and they were collaborating with our voice team on a breakfast and lunch drop-in in Stafford. They were delighted to have arranged and delivered welcome talks for all of the new paramedic students, nurses, is for both mental health, child and adult, midwives, operating department practitioners, and trainee nursing associates. They've been supporting the registry department in the university by making emergency payments to students who have experienced delayed payments from the student loans company. Our robust systems are more responsive. Yeah, our robust systems are more responsive than the universities, and so we've stepped in to ensure that students receive the timely support that they need. Over the last 2 weeks, they've supported 13 students with payments totaling up to over £2,000. The advice team have been working with the Young Gamblers and Gamblers Education Trust, YGAM, an award-winning charity with a social purpose to inform, educate, and safeguard young people against gaming and gambling harms. YGAM have agreed to deliver have delivered an online training session for us on Tuesday, the 18th of October, which one of our officers attended, I believe. Len?
It was Len.
Len attended. The training was City and Guilds assured and was free for staff to attend. And the invitation was also extended to our colleagues over in Kiel. Moving on to some statistics from the advice team. They've already had a very busy start to the year, supporting almost 250 students. As of the 26th of October, they have authorised 69 uses of the Food Hub since the 1st of August. And when we compare this to the last year, so for the same period of time, 1st of August to the 26th of October, they only authorised 38 last year, meaning we've seen an 81% increase in comparison to last year. We made 23 emergency payments to students on the university's behalf, totalling over £5,000. We've had 238 individual cases opened for students, and 57% of these are related to money issues, 26 to academic matters, and the remaining to do with housing and disciplinary action.
Moving on to our venues. So with LRB, we've already had a lot of themed gobbles this first semester already, with sponsors such as VK and Hooch Specials. They've raised some money for Wear It Pink, and a number of freebies including hats, sunglasses, t-shirts, jumpers, and have already welcomed over 800 unique students through LRB's doors.
That's gone up to over 1,000 now after last night.
Yeah, and even if you were there last night at the Halloween Gobble, we had over 1,000 students go through those doors. If you're there, it was very warm. I can tell you from experience. And we even had our first special guest and supported with Res Life with their craft noons and held 2 cocktail masterclasses and a part of the Stoke Con Trent event. Oh, okay. Am I continuing?
Yes, I was just scrolling.
And then over on our Ember Lounge, we've had the usual training, start of the year for new staff, continuation of the running of the karaoke events on Tuesday, quizzes on Sundays, and even opened our first monthly open mic of the term, as well as first card game night of the term. Various Give It a Go sessions for darts, pool, chess, Smash Bros, and even our African Caribbean Society, ACS, ran the first Cabana night for Black History Month. And we've also been supporting around cost of living issues by supporting with offering free toast and free cereal to help students. With Verve, so there's a big change from last year. The alcohol offer has been reconfirmed. So since COVID, so now Monday nights, Wednesday nights, and Friday nights, Verve will have alcohol offers in the evening. We've held multiple events with Rams, the Rock and Metal Society, every Monday night. Welcome over 100 students. We've also opened back up Verve for our club nights on the Gobble. So we're opening a Prees at Verve. If you get there early before 10, you'll have a free entry to the club night. And it allows a more quieter, refreshing, chill space, even on the club night for every student. We also started doing weekly cocktail nights that you can take part of with other societies that we host, such as the Femboy Society and the LGBT Network. This year, for the free cereal offer, we've seen over 10 boxes of gluten-free, 3 boxes of rice puffs, and 10 boxes of cornflakes have been used so far, and 12 loaves of bread in terms of the free toast offer for students. We've also had craft sessions, art for wellness, Coven takeover on Wednesdays for Witchy Wednesdays in the afternoon, and saw DJ Lomi come back and increase student network and societies booking Verve out. Verve has seen an increase in customers and regulars that have come back to.
Okay, moving on to the marketing department. As a department, they have had a successful welcome period and have sent out their annual welcome survey asking students for their feedback on how their welcome was and how we can improve for future events. They have planned out the 8-week induction, providing tips and information daily on how the SU can help and events going on around campus. They've been having regular pop-ups of local businesses across the campus. They're already planning for the Re-Welcome Fair in January. They have planned and carried through Black History Month events alongside Choto, Eddie, and the Afro-Caribbean Society. Eddie is the head of our Race and Culture Inclusion Network, for anyone who doesn't know. And they are currently planning for Movember events such as fundraisers, clubs and society events, and special gobble and karaoke quiz nights.
Moving on to GreenPad, which is our own outlet housing agency. Is that right? Housing outlet agency?
My mind's gone blank.
Lettings agency.
That's the one.
Don't know why housing is in my head. Just a brief summary of what GreenPad has been focusing on for September and October this month. They've been supporting with late arrivals of students, mainly with our upsurge of international students requiring urgent accommodation. Some late arrivals, including students with families, including children. Also been working, we are also now fully booked on our houses except the odd room or two, and been liaising with the council regarding carbon monoxide detector legislation that came into force on the 1st of October, so earlier this month. Moving was extremely busy beginning from the mid of September, handing out keys and emailing opening inventories. Now there's still an odd few who are still filtering through. Mainly between the last 2 months have been drawing up tenancies and how for late arrivals and completing right to rent checks and signing these off. And we're currently working on updating the management agreement with landlords and for them to relook at the fair usage energy bills and update adverts that get new photos and a 360 property for the next year. They also plan on contacting all tenants to find out who wants to stay before we can follow up with new tenant inquiries. So you will ensure that you can keep in your property if you'd like to. Each month, they also are completing a maintenance report and weekly fire checks at student buildings and inquiring property certifications are up to date to ensure that you're living in the best conditions as possible in your accommodation. They're also working with tenants for deposit claims, disputes, and trying to resolve these directly with landlords to ensure all the parties are happy.
I love the way you sat like a proper news reporter.
I don't know.
I love it. We don't have an update from the shops at this time, but we can quite happily provide one after the live stream is finished. So we're going to be moving on to the officer updates. So we're going to talk through our union priorities, so the different points from the team manifesto, if you will. And then we're going to be giving any individual extras that we've been up to, because as well as the planned stuff that we do throughout the year and the things that we run on when we run in the leadership race, there's also the reactive stuff that we do because crises and issues never stop arising. If I mention the word Adobe, will you twitch?
I know what we'll talk about.
So starting off with the cost of living. So the Students' Union has been working with the university in responding to the cost of living crisis. The Deputy CEO of our union, Kev Barry, has been co-chairing the cost of living working group alongside Russ Roberts from the university, and they're working on a 4-divided strategy to support students. The group consists of key colleagues from across the university, and they meet regularly covering 4 strands, which are support, affordability, safety, and income. From a student union point of view, there's also some work going on to do with broader issues, lobbying for change alongside NUS. So some bits of what we're doing are top tips, advice and guidance, lobbying for change, ensuring that our venues and shops are supplying affordable and accessible offers, and also increasing support. After several cost of living meetings as a group, they have partly finalised a 2-phase plan, where phase 1 consists of things that can be done that we're aiming to be done for the start of term, and phase 2 to be objectives to be done and achieved from October onwards. So phase 1 consisted of us extending our cereal provision from Verve over to Ember and adding toast into it, fundraising for the Horizon Fund, introducing the Club Pass so that students can save money on nightlife activity, increasing promotion in the zero waste shop, and and also providing money management tips. Phase 2 includes things such as increasing student employment opportunities, partnering with Affordable Hull Stoke charity, introducing catering initiatives, looking into starting fortnightly car boot sales in charity shops, and looking into extending the free period product provision across the institution, so not just limited to the SU. Do you want me to do inclusivity? Yes. The second point from our union priorities is inclusivity for all. Quite a bit of work has been going on behind the scenes for this. So starting off with rainbow laces. Funding has been secured from the university. The laces were ordered from Stonewall and have been received. During Welcome Week, Len started conversations with several of our sports. Len started conversations with several of our sports teams, asking if they would like to be involved with the scheme, and several committees are on board and were really enthusiastic. So laces distribution has begun. I believe I've already seen several committee members wearing their rainbow laces, which has been really exciting. The trans inclusion policy, so this is a piece of work which is carried over from last year. This has been done in collaboration with the LGBTQ+ network, with the Voice team, and with the head of Equality, Diversity and Inclusion, Ravinda, who is lovely. So the policy has been edited and redrafted with input from Stonewall as well. It has been sent to the university's inclusion group, and we are awaiting for the final approval. Looking into the option for LGBTQ+ accommodation, currently we are in discussions with ResLife on the logistics of this and how it can be done, as we have seen it implemented at other institutions. The inclusion framework is currently being drafted with the engagement team. And period poverty, we are looking to, as said previously, we are looking to expand the provision of free period products so that it's not just the union in doing this, that the university is as well. We have drafted a, business case requesting for funding. So we are currently, we had one draft, it's come back. We're redrafting it, and then we're going to be sending it back off to the university to secure funding.
Building a community. So working with our university and our welcome program, we aim to have a bunch of welcome new and returning students to our campus across Stoke, Stafford and our London sites. The transition and belonging work streams aim to achieve these are the following goals: to maximize opportunities for our students and to begin to make new friends and start that feel that they belong to the university community. We have found out that helping students to form important social networks early have a positive impact on their student satisfaction and retention rate. To ensure that students feel connected on their course, as this is the heart of why they're here with us, feedback from our student indicates that those who feel connected to their course, the example, the opportunity to get to know classmates, experience fun course-related activities, and are given good information about modules, are more likely to feel belonging as staffs. And the key focus this year will be of a broad range of activities which focus on student transition, taking a holistic approach so that students have a range of opportunities pre-arrival and during welcome, induction if you want to call it, to feel equipped to succeed and have the best experience at university. So Choto, which also one of my colleagues, was a fellow officer lead on welcome this year and was involved with the welcome oversight meeting alongside other key members of the SU team, where we're able to join up with the university, help steer the welcome events and activities. Additionally, a part of the representation beyond Stoke strand, site visits took place, and Choto personally went to London and Stafford during Welcome Week to ensure that all students from each site felt welcomed. A part of the welcome, we also did a 8-week induction. I believe we are in our 4th week and we're looking to enter the 5th week. So about halfway through that now. The union has been supporting the university's 8-week induction, providing events and content following assigned themes for each week, such as safety, motivation, and employability. And I'd like to give a massive shout out to our marketing teams, Nicole, for doing a lot of this work. She's been vital to getting these work out. So thank you, Nicole. We've also been looking, Choto's also been looking at the We Are Staffs initiatives. So this is a joint initiative between us, the Students' Union, and the Sports Centre, when we aim to bring that pride and togetherness to our clubs and societies and sports teams to help bring that sense of belonging, throughout the institution. One of Len's work over the summer has been the Carer's Passport. And a Carer's Passport is a record which identifies a carer in some way and sets out an offer of support, service, or other benefits in response. A Carer's Passport helps improve and embed identification, recognition, and support for carers in the day-to-day life at university. A draft for the implementation of this at staffs has been shared with the university service staff, and we're awaiting their feedback to move this forward.
Moving on to our safety awareness strand, for the consent training, myself and Len have drafted a paper about the implementation of a consent module during the induction and enrolment part of a student's life, I guess, life here at university. This would include education on consent, healthy relationships, gender-based violence, and how to be an active bystander. So a paper was drafted. It was approved by the university's liaison committee. So this is a committee made up of representatives from the Students' Union, from the comms department, from the services, the registry. There are more student services,
and even exec.
Yeah, and there is also a member of executive on there. So the initial draft was approved. So now myself and Len are preparing a presentation to take to the university's senior leadership team at the end of November. The safe taxi scheme, which we are looking to implement, a proposal and draft of how it will operate has been written. I have sent it over to the Kiel officers, as it makes sense to do this in collaboration since our students go out to the same places, up in Hanley and in Newcastle. So I'm waiting for their input on how it could work collaboratively and how we can do this as a team. Spiking. So this is one that was actually asked. Why is this chair so creepy? So spiking was something that we put particular focus on during the safety week of the 8-week induction. So we released several videos on demonstrating spiking safety devices, such as the stop tops and spikies that we have in our venues. And in addition to this, we have bought drinks testing strips, which will be introduced into our venues, so that if you feel like your drink is unsafe or has been tampered with, you can request one. More information on that will be released by Len soon.
For those that have, for you students that have joined us from last year, you might recognize the name Simon Stone. So Simon Stone was our on-campus police liaison officer who would work with our security and students just to inform around safety awareness and helped us a lot around collaborative approach with safety. Unfortunately, he is retired last year or end of last year / start of this year. So his role was vacant for a little bit, but thankfully we have recruited a new position called, I believe, Gareth
Richardson.
Gareth Richardson is the new Simon Stone. So
he's lovely.
We've been able to recruit a new campus liaison officer, and we've met with him. He's an amazing person. He's very open to all sorts of awareness, and we're looking forward to work with him for future endeavors around safety.
He's very keen to work with students as well. So if you see him around, you'll see him around campus in his high vis, like a bit fully dressed in his policing gear. So if you see him, go up and say hello and ask him if there's anything you can get involved in. Do you want me to take student voice? So the next team manifesto union priority is amplifying the student voice. So first part of this is myself and the voice team have been involved in TEF, which is Teaching Excellence Framework. For anyone who didn't know, it is an interesting piece of work. Basically, the grading that we get will affect the university's funding and things like that. As part of the submission for TEF to determine what grade the university gets, we have to submit a 10-page student submission where we can basically be as honest as we like on student issues and the student experience here at staffs, and what what grade we believe the university deserves. So that's a piece of work that's currently ongoing. As part of the As mentioned earlier, the Student Voice departments here, they were involved in the by-elections, which involved electing in some delegates for NUS. So 5 delegates have been elected, including myself, Len, and Choto from the officer team. And we're really excited to get started to just represent the students and the university at a national level and help make sure that our issues can be tackled nationally and on a larger scale. And finally, for Student Voice, we have created these, the monthly updates, as we want to be more transparent with you guys. We want to make sure you know what your union is, what your union is up to, and we also want to make sure that since you elected your officers in on the manifestos, it's so that you guys have the opportunity to hear where are we up to with things that we pledged to do. If anything hasn't happened, why? Is it because something else came in and took priority? Is it because we've tried and hit roadblocks? So yeah, that's the whole point of this being created, and we'll see how they go, I guess. Well-being. It's me starting it, isn't it, again?
Well, ideally.
And then as well, and one of our key priorities as well is health and well-being. We've done quite a bit for this actually, or at least
right.
looking at the list comparatively, there's quite a bit for it. So on the 10th of September, it was World Suicide Prevention Day. So we did a piece of work talking about the significance of the semicolon in mental health, and I shared my own experiences with mental health problems. For the sex education and testing campaign, we have just today received through the approved information from the local open clinic, which is an NHS service. So this will soon be available on the university's website. So if anyone needs any information on how to do the sex safely, I guess, you'll be able to soon head onto the university's website and see it. No, I don't know why I said it so awkwardly. I think it's because it's an awkward topic. As well as that, we should soon have the monthly visits to campus embedded, and then once the monkeypox is no longer an issue and community testing is allowed again, those monthly drop-ins by the open clinic will also involve on-campus testing, which is exciting. And as already mentioned in the venues update, we did some fundraising for Wear It Pink. I don't yet have a total for how much we raised though, so unfortunately all I can say is we raised money for Wear It Pink, which, if anyone doesn't know, is a yearly event held to fundraise for breast cancer.
Yeah, and then moving on to another fundraiser as we're we're approaching to the end of October. Scary Halloween. We'll be moving to November.
I think it's Movember.
November. I feel like I haven't said November in a very long time.
Yeah, we're very used to calling it Movember.
Yeah, so we're looking to do a Movember fundraising for the month. And if you didn't know what Movember is, it's more than just a mustache month. It's around men's mental health and a massive campaign around supporting their endeavors. We understand that donations might not be at the best time of the cost of living. So I think 3 of the key points that we're making for this November is 1, just getting involved, whatever that means to you, just getting as many people involved, whether that be you on the sports team and just getting everyone to join in, or everyone on your course, whatever it is, just get as many people involved as possible in the time where I think getting together is quite vital. 2, again, more than just knowing it's just that mustache month, actually understanding what Movember is and what the cause is and what it's fundraising for. And 3, which I would probably argue is actually quite hard, is just getting those really low-level engagement talks with everyone. It doesn't have to be when you see them at a low point, and it doesn't have to go, hey, are you okay? Because sometimes it can be a bit awkward when you launch like that. It can even just go from just a casual chit chat with a friend or mate, and then
Break the stigma, talk about your mental health.
And then we have some updates around the GP services. This is a piece of work that was quite heavy on from last year, and I think actually from our predecessor officers as well. I think from my understanding, if I said the phrase Harley Street, most people have negative reactions. For those that you do not know, Harley Street is the one of two local general practices in Stoke-on-Trent, Shelton, and they have notoriously not had the best reputation from students. So this is a piece of work around understanding why is that and how can we fix that so it isn't negatively conceived by students. So some of the good things is we've finally been able to get in contact with their manager and our directors of student service around well-being support and kind of tackle what the issues were around communications predominantly and get to create a service level agreement so we can ensure services are done in a properly and efficient manner that supports students. And also keeping the on-campus provision of the GP instated. Harm reduction was one of substance misuse and harm reduction was one of the larger topics in the elections. And I think it's always been a taboo-y subject to talk about, especially with universities as an organization, an institute, or even as a business, because it kind of brings in that whole connotation of if we talk about it, does that mean we're promoting it? And it's no, we're not promoting it. But one thing as a union is that we want to ensure if you do it, we want to make sure you do it safely. So we've just had the approval of looking into a harm reduction campaign, so work will be launched on that soon. We also last year had some projects called the Rest and Reset Lounges, which kind of dropped off with one of our predecessors, Anthony. We're also exploring around those with the cost of living and trying to have events on campus for students to come in and join in for and just kind of relax with each other.
I really want people to call out the reason why they haven't opened yet.
No.
Kind of not.
It's a union update.
True. Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, right. Okay. And then as well, as I said earlier, as well as the the team manifesto uni priorities work that we do, sometimes other matters arise, crises happen, issues come up, and we have to tackle them outside of our manifesto work. And often that can be an individual thing, or it can be done with the help of other officers. So here's just some individual officer work, I guess.
Yeah. So these are around more key priority works, even though we all have a joint union priority list. Obviously, there's some key things that we all might feel a bit more closer to and would want to work on. So I'll be speaking on behalf of myself and for Chota's work streams that we've been doing. So for myself, if you're an art and design student, you might have heard something around Adobe Suite software licenses and how they've been recently suddenly revoked from all students. And this has caused a lot of stress around work and I think around data retention, such as, if your work has not been saved and you have no access to it anymore. So now you're going to fail your course. Oh no, it's only like 8 weeks in. Oh, what do I do? That's a piece of work we've quickly picked up and I'm currently working on. So we've launched a feedback with, response feedback with our student voice team, and we've collected over 180 student responses, some really strong responses around how the Adobe Suite softwares have affected them, and we're bringing that to university exec around how we can try and reclaim them back for the students that need that software at least. And then some other personal work I'm looking at. I'm a cybersecurity graduate by trade, so I am looking to do a cybersecurity audit for the union internally, which will inevitably support students just around how the organization works and ensure that we don't get cyber attacked and lose some money so you can't run your events. Just for Choto, some of the main works that he's been focused on for the last couple of months is he's been leading on the Student Futures Manifesto. So as the lead, he's been working collectively with the Students' Union and the university, as well as to support you as a student around co-creation of a student manifesto that the university will take that reflects the concerns and priorities of all parties within the institution. And this will look to take a positive and meaningful action over the next 5 years with 6 core themes. And he's also been looking at, he's also been leading on the Black History Month. For the Black History Month, he's written a joint up Black History Month pledge with University Executive and the Vice Chancellor of the university. And he's hoping to get approval soon and take it forward to get it signed. Breaking news, I've just heard that the Vice Chancellor is agreed to sign it. So that's a massive win for Black History Month, an amazing win for Choto. He's also worked close with the Race and Culture Inclusion Network and one of those societies, which is I've heard earlier, ACS, which is Afro-Caribbean Society, on a range of events and activities to help celebrate Black history and culture.
Huge well done to Choto for the Black History Month pledge. Yeah, literally got the email through this afternoon, so I haven't had a chance to tell him yet, so surprise! Just a couple updates from myself personally. So a piece of work that I started back in February was getting the university to sign a pledge to stop the use of non-disclosure agreements in cases of sexual harassment, assault, and things and that's for staff and students. This is something that our university said they've not done before. However, this was a national pledge which was being pushed by at the time, Higher Education Minister Michelle Donnellan, who's now the Minister for something else, because Tories.
We don't get political here.
We don't, but they've got a new cabinet now, so she has a different position. I can say that. I'm allowed to say that one. But yeah, so this is something that has been being pushed for since February. It took a lot of discussion, but the university finally agreed to commit to the pledge and commit to creating a safer environment for any survivors who are here on campus. And as of mid-September, I believe it was, we were officially we are officially on the list of universities who have signed up, and we released a news article around this as well. Also, following on from last year, pushing for a lecture capture policy, a temporary piece of work has been put in for which lecturers and academics have the option to follow for this academic year. So I'm actually going to put out a request to anyone who may be watching. If you are willing, would you be able to feed back to myself or the voice team for whether lecture capture in any format is being used within your lessons, and if not, do you know the reason why?
hannah.blackburn@staffs.ec.uk.
And similarly, last year we reformed the LSS process, which the new one was put into place this August. So from LSS is a learning support statement. So for people with disabilities, neurodivergencies, things like dyslexia, if you just need that extra support when you're studying, you should have an LSS. And if you don't, then you can get in contact with the services and wellbeing team so that you can get one in place. But yeah, so a new system was put in place this September. So for anyone who has an LSS or should have an LSS, this is another one that I would love feedback for as to how the process was this year, and do you feel so far like your LSS is being followed and supported by your academic team. And finally, recently, we had a student complaint come through regarding 24/7 access to some of the games rooms. So this is another one where I'm requesting your guys' feedback. I've already done a little investigation and campus walk around myself. However, any feedback would be appreciated as to do you need access to certain rooms? And this doesn't need to just be the games labs. This can be any room on campus. Do you need access to it outside of the 9 to 5 or 9 to 10 that it's currently open for? Why do you need access for it? Is it for your course? Is it for something else? And just where is the 24/7 access needed? So we're trying to get things back to how they were pre-COVID. And that's it. So yeah, This was the first monthly update that we've done. We are aware that it was a bit janky with me at times, but again, this was the first one. I would appreciate any feedback you can give to us, whether it's about the live stream, about our updates. If you think there's anything we were missing, please just let us know. Let us know if there's anything you would rather see in the future for these updates. And yeah, we've not had any questions through, but if anyone watches this after it's been live, and Nicole's just creeping in, if anyone's watched this after it's been live and has any questions for us, you can either comment on the video, or you can email any of the officer team or Union 1 at staffs.ac.uk. Just want to say a huge thank you to our staff here at the SU for all the hard work that they put in. A massive thank you to you guys, the students, who helped make all of this happen. And thank you to anyone watching, both live and a later date. So yeah, thanks guys. Ending.